Well, folks, we're back. Just telling Dwayne, I have a couple of interesting pieces of mail. I always like opening these up on the show. This one is from Anonymous, and it says, important account information enclosed. Now, who's willing to bet me they want money in here? Bet you it's not a love letter from Taylor Swift. It's from Barclays. And guess what? They want to
give you
They want to
blank
give
checks.
me blank checks.
Just write it out, whatever amount you want.
Yep.
And just take it down and cash it.
And guess what? Right there. 20.99% interest after the grace period.
I get those from Rockland Trust. Just $125,000. Just that's it. Just go get it.
I know. Whatever my credit limit is.
Yep.
Well, folks, that's going to go in Billy's wastebasket. But this is even better. Personal and confidential. Important notice. Delivered directly to addressee. See Title 18, Section 1702 of the U.S. Code. This is...
if you look that code up, it's probably going to say something like, mail must be put in mailbox. Boom, that's it. But by quoting some crazy thing like that.
Must be promptly delivered or something. This, by the way, folks, it is not going to be my draft notice. I know that.
It could be.
It could be. Boy, they'll be getting a real prize if they decide to draft me now. Wow. Immediate response to this notice is requested. Our records indicate you have not contacted us to have the vehicle service contract for your 2008 Mercury updated. Wow. This is, how the heck do you go wrong, huh? Gee whiz. I just bought that car only about a month ago, but they haven't talked to me.
They buy those nations of motor vehicles.
Exactly. I actually talked to one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get a price over the phone.
Oh, no.
No. I got to ask you 810 questions
You bet.
first.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, good news though, Mr. Crane. We have a new plan, more affordable than ever. You can make monthly payments for your insurance policy. I said, what makes that easier than ever? Did I have to write out 12 checks rather than one check a year? Oh, well, it's more convenient for your budgeting. I said, so if I added up all 12 of those payments, would come to the same exact number as the one payment, would it?
Not quite.
No. Well, we have to, we have handling charge. I said, you know what? I'm just yanking your chain. Go away.
I've got it a couple times now. Whatever they're selling, it's only $49 a month, but nowhere do they tell you how many months. It could just go on for 10 years or 20 years.
64 months.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, well, look at this.
Oh, you got a fan. Oh, God.
The walk-in tub. And how much will you save? Scratch this baby off and find out. Oh, no.
$1,000.
I hit the jackpot, Dwayne.
$1,000.
$1,500.
$1,500
for a new bathtub and shower head, which, by the way, is about $29,000.
Yeah, it's You know, if you get 1,000 or plus on it, it's big money.
Do you suppose there is any postcards they mailed out that don't have the 1,500?
That's a good point.
How stupid do they think people? But you know what? I should.
We got
There
on.
are people that get fooled by.
We got must have been sold recently because all of a sudden we are deluged with beggars, and a lot of them are religious right now. I don't know which one sold my name, but somebody did. I never got anything. St. Jude's never did anything. The Children's Research Hospital never got anything. I used to give, or I still do, Shriners. That it stayed the same. But Monica sent one of these mission things a $10 check because they gave her a little stupid bracelet, and she's right away got the guilt complex. Well, after that, we've been just deluged with. Brothers of the Holy Rock, and just on and on and on. And I told her the other day, I said, I'll bet you take this one and this one and this one. If you try to find them, they don't exist. That's just most of them are scams.
I get buried with that stuff every day.
Yep.
Now, all my life, I have supported the Jimmy Fund.
Yep.
My son was born with heart problems. He had open heart surgery when he was, I think, 18 days old or something. And then a complete replumbing job when he was 9 months old. And ever since that happened, we have been donated religiously to Children's Hospital in Boston.
Right.
For saving Patrick's life. So, I don't know what it is, but somehow or other they must feel that I'm not giving them enough money. Because I get stuff from them every 10 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing when we first got married, and I don't know how it happened, but I found the Christian Children's Fund.
We sponsored a child for
Yeah.
years in that thing. Yeah.
We have
It's called
sponsored-
something else now.
Yes. The Child Fund.
Is that what it
They
is?
took Christian out of it so they wouldn't offend anybody. That really talked me off. But so for 50, going on 53 years, we've supported them. When I got a raise, I said, let's do a second kid. And so we've had 2 kids.
Did you get the little letters from them every so often?
Oh, yeah.
Photographs?
And pictures. Yeah. And to see them grow up and go off to college,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Very rewarding, and they're both outstanding charities. But they are absolutely burying me with mail.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got a unique one the other day, and it was, I don't know what it was. It was Feed the Children or something. It said, Mr. Weiss, if you send us $20 to feed 3 kids, you'll never hear from us again. I thought that was kind of unique.
yeah, that's almost worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. That is unique.
I said, Monica, is that a promise or a threat?
That's great. Well, Dwayne,
Yes,
one
sir.
of the biggest problems that I see with the Republican Party is we don't seem to be able to get a message out there to the voters. Now, the last time we did, we were swept into office. Newt Gingrich and the contract with America.
Yep.
He spelled it out what we were going to do as a party. We've got to do that again. But even more important is we have become a punching bag over abortion.
Yep.
We lost the last election, the midterms, strictly on abortion, we would have taken the Senate. But they mounted a campaign based on the opinion of the Supreme Court. We have got to counter that. And I'll tell you, we're going to speak regular English. And here's how we do it. What you need to know about birth control pills without a prescription. Buy them over the counter.
Yeah.
All right? I think that the Republican Party should take a stance on this and promote this. And say,
Oh,
look,
I do too. The problem, the pushback on that particular item right there is the drug companies.
yeah. Well, they are coming out now with generics, though,
Yeah,
that
they
you
are.
can buy
Yeah.
over the counter.
And there is some pushback from the medical community. Now they don't have a checkup. They
Yeah.
don't. They're not getting an
Yeah.
income from
Yeah.
it. It all comes down to money.
It does.
All these things. You boil it down. That little piece you got left in the bottom of the pot is a coin.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what they've basically found is there's almost no side effects.
Well, they've had them
these
for
pills.
years. They've been
Yeah.
out for a long, long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And people are not dying
No.
over these.
One of their objections, warnings, cautions is that the people taking them, and I don't mean this as a disparity to women, but they think that some of them are going to be too stupid to take them how they have to take them so many days and then stop so many days. That they think, well, if they don't have a doctor telling them that, they won't know it. But if they do have a doctor tell them when they walk out the office, they forget it anyway.
This, they've gone now to
The dispenser
there's
thing.
a new generation of birth control pills, and you take them forever.
Oh, okay.
Or you take
Don't-
them for that time of the month. You keep right on taking them.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that is really probably make that concern go away.
Away, yeah.
As long as you regiment yourself to take it every day.
Yeah, that's another thing.
If you skip
Whether
one
whether it's
day-
by RX or over the counter, you don't have any control whether they're going to take it every day or not. That there's going to be a certain percentage that don't. They've just
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
they forget to eat breakfast for Christ's sake. You know, it's
And the doctors are going to say, you know, I wished I knew that you were on the pills. I never would have prescribed this thing.
Yeah.
Although, with a woman of childbearing age, I'm sure the doctors say, now, tell me about the medications you're taking
Yeah.
now. Are you taking birth control? You know, da da da. Although, they can't get them without a prescription now. But to me, this is a no-brainer.
oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. And you and and what the Republican Party should say is, look, we respect you. Here is a solution to a problem. We think this, and that is over-the-counter, low-cost birth control pills.
Yeah. That also negates a lot of unnecessary abortion situations.
Well, that's what I want to do.
That's
is
what you were going
to avoid.
Yeah.
And to mitigate that whole
Yeah.
problem, because
Abortion, I don't take a stand on one way or another because it's I don't have
You don't have a
a
dog in the
standing in
fight.
it. Yeah, I can't say because I don't know what it's like on the other side. But to me, it's a damn poor way of birth control, and it's an awful expensive and painful way of doing birth control.
And
Where
we're
this is
paying
so
for
much,
it.
this
We're
is so
paying
much
for it,
easier.
Wayne.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. In fact, they had on one of those talking head shows, they had a lady on, and she said, I oppose the idea of abortion, but situations being what they are, I've had 10 of them.
Yeah, well, that's a form of birth control with that person.
Exactly. And they get it for free.
Mm-hmm.
But that is shortening her lifespan.
It has to. One of these times
Yeah.
it's going to kill her.
Yeah. But, you know, this whole thing about abortion is so convoluted. I mean, when a baby is viable, that's murder to abort that baby,
Yeah. Let's,
in my estimation.
today we've mixed up politics with medicine too. That's another thing.
Yeah, we mix up politics with common sense,
Yeah.
too. You know, interesting, I had an interesting conversation with my better half, who has more intelligence in her little finger than I have in my body sometimes.
That's what she told me.
Yeah. It's no secret anymore. So we were sitting there, and she said, we were talking about the stupid things the kids did. And she said, do you remember the day that we were in the grocery store and a midget was walking down the aisle and Paul turned to me and said, look, Mom, a baby man. I said, yeah, I remember that.
Well, your kids, over the years, if they haven't embarrassed you,
Yep.
there's something wrong.
Oh. So I said to Susie, I said, tell me something. When is the last time you've seen a midget or a small person? She said, 20 years, 30 years?
They're
I
less
said-
less and less.
I said, where did they all go? She said, Billy, they abort them.
Yeah.
I said, what? She said, they abort them. She says, yeah. She said, so the next time somebody tries to tell me about how great America is and how cruel the Nazis were, killing people to only have the superior race eventually evolve, I'm going to remind them about this. She's, because that's what we're doing in this country. I said, you got to, wow. And I had never considered that.
Yeah, but your kids will point out the obvious to you.
Yeah, my kids probably would, yeah. Yeah, they know this stuff. Anyway, so I caught something in the magazine I got yesterday. The top complaints of 2022. State and local consumer agencies handled nearly 600,000 complaints in 2022, according to research by the Consumer Federation of America. So, number one, auto sales and repair.
Yeah.
Number two, home improvement
Improvement, yeah.
repairs and contractors.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Number three, consumer debt and credit. A lot of times people sign up for a card and then they go out and spend money on it and they get socked a totally different charge than what they thought they were going to pay.
Also, out and out fraud, I think, on some of these consumer credit people when they say we can improve your credit score by 40 points. They can't.
Yeah.
You're just going to cost you a lot of money, and you'll get a couple of points increase that you could have done yourself by calling the credit agency.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. and point out to them
Yeah.
how things have improved in your life. Yeah. Retail purchase issues. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That makes sense. We've all had that.
Yeah. Number 5 makes sense. Landlord-tenant issues.
Yep. Oh my God! Particularly with the moratorium on evictions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My God, they.
9 to 12 months to evict someone when they stop
That's right.
paying
They
their
stop
rent.
paying,
Whew.
and as soon as that process goes into litigation, by law they don't have to pay rent anymore
Yeah.
either.
It stops.
People are professional evictors or evictees. They know they can get it now. It's probably 18 months free
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if they lose at the end, they don't care because they'll just go to the next place, right away put it in litigation for something
Start
and
it all over
start it
again.
all over
Yeah.
again.
Number 6, frauds and scams.
Yeah. Oh my God. This whole issue of this week, we'll talk about it next time. Says your scam protection guide. There's some new ones in here
Oh, good.
that
Number 7, healthcare and wellness.
yeah. Okay.
And number 8, home furnishings and appliances.
Yeah.
You know, all of that makes sense.
Yeah. We went around and around. We bought a new. Well, it's been 2 years now. New refrigerator, freezer, French door type thing, and a new stove. And the stove was a Samsung, and the other one was LG.
Yep.
The refrigerator. And they're great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that when the refrigerator made a clunk. So this was during the pandemic too, where I called LG, and honest to God, I got somebody in Korea. I swear they were in Korea.
I'm sure you did. That's where it's built.
It's where it's built. And I tried to explain it, this and that, and they said, all right, well, we'll do this and do that, and nothing changed. And we'll call you back, or I'll call you. Well, it didn't matter. We went on and on and on with it. And the bottom line finally was, I think I told you this, was a stupid little button. We didn't order the automatic ice maker. And I didn't know, nor did anybody else. They have one in there. They don't make them with or without. They just make them with. They just don't turn them on and put the plumbing in. That's all, but the machine is there. Well, somehow during the manufacturing or shipping, the switch got on. So it's back in there trying to make ice cubes, and there's no water hooked to it. Of course, for every 10 or 15 minutes, it's going clunk, like another ice cube coming out. Clunk, clunk. So finally, I think it was a guy at an appliance store from Brockton called us. He was a dealer. And he says, open that bottom drawer or the thing, look back at it. You see the ice maker? I said, he says, you got one. I said, right away. I said, we don't have one. Yes, you do. He says, you see that thing hanging down? It's got a button on it. It says off and on. What's it set on? I says, on. He says, switch it off. Never did it again.
End of the story.
Well, now, to lead up to that, every 6 months or so we get a letter from LG. It's time to change your filter in your ice maker. And this drives Monica crazy. He says they still think we got that ice maker.
Oh, that's beautiful. You can't make stuff like that up. Well, here's a serious subject. The options for people who need 24/7 care. Providing care for loved ones who can never be left alone and who can't assist in their care is daunting.
It is. It really is.
When caring for mom costs over $1 million in Personal Journal, June 22nd. As attractive as home care sounds, it isn't possible for everyone or all situations. For over 40 years, I've worked to preserve the option of congregate care facilities for people like my son, who at age 54 is nonverbal and functions on the level of a young toddler. In recent years, my experiences have included the care of my husband, whose brilliant mind was attacked by Alzheimer's. Over time, my family's researched and visited and then secured a place in a memory center for him. Misinformation about specialized care facilities for those requiring 24-hour care has been relentless. Lobbying to weaken and eliminate congregate care facilities, particularly those caring for people living with lifelong developmental disabilities, has also been relentless. In many states without licensed specialized long-term care products, area jails, hospitals, and foster care have become the dangerous default residential program for people unable to care for themselves. Human service systems should be a range of service options, home-based and congregate care, and licensed facility-based services. We can support them all. Well, you know, I really and truly believe, as I see the aging process before my eyes, and I see my friends and our friends and the elderly here in Norfolk, and some of the problems they have. Our elder care insurance is non-existent for all intents and
That's right.
purposes. And if you can get it, you can't afford it.
Can't afford it.
This is a bloody shame.
This is a problem that's been ignored for so long because we were a young country. Our median age was way down, according to the European countries, for example, where their age they take care of their elders a lot better than we do. But now we are gradually getting older and older. This country's median age is going up all the time. And it's not going to be too long where the elders are going to be the majority. And it's only now that we're starting to look at these problems. We should have looked at these 20 or 30 years ago.
Some of us were
Yeah, but
20 or 30 years ago.
but not the powers that be.
No.
They didn't care because they weren't
didn't
old.
care. Well, there's, at a federal level, there's no push for elder care insurance. State level, they're too busy with,
Well, it's token too. Just
yeah,
don't bother me here.
making sure that gender benders are allowed to play girl sports and stuff like that. That's more important. And the town hasn't done one thing for the elderly.
No, well, we're not a senior-oriented town.
And we don't have a loud voice.
No,
No. We don't have a champion.
we do not,
No.
and we don't. This is a yuppie's an old term, but it's still that young urban, self-centered. A lot of it. I take the train into Boston. I come back and I get in my BMW and we go here and we do this and
Yeah, we'll go out to eat, and then we come home and we'll go to sleep, and I do it again the next day. And my roots are not here.
they're not
This is a great big bedroom.
bedroom
for me,
community. Yep.
you know. Yeah. The old folks that are still left.
Yeah, well, they're just kind of we'll just push them
Yeah.
over the side, just like that.
Yeah.
As long as they don't bother me, they're all right.
Yeah, I really and truly have expected for years for them to wait for a major snowstorm and then round us up and give us all a blanket and force us into the woods. That's probably the only plan for the elderly they have.
Speaking of elderly, you want to announce the reopening of the senior center,
Yeah, if I knew the date.
17th.
The 17th. Okay. The senior center will be reopening on the 17th.
Officially on the 17th.
Yeah. It's been a long haul, but I guess they've got it all fixed up.
According to the paper, now this is according to the Sun Chronicle, that all the activities that are away from site now will be suspended next week in anticipation of going back
Yeah.
and picking it back up on the 17th, except our lunches.
Yeah, except our lunch program.
At the,
And for any of you that are wondering, I believe that the best thing for us to do is to continue our lunch program through August 30th
okay.
at the church, Federated Church. They contacted us as soon as there was a problem at the senior center, and they've been most gracious and most welcoming, and they have opened their doors. They've been terrific to
Yeah.
us. And the other part of that equation is we already have published our
Menus, yeah.
menus
Yeah.
in the Silver Sec Gazette, and we have a notice in there that we're running through August 30th at the Federated Church. So I would expect us to return the lunch program, all things considered, the first week of September.
Yep.
Now, what we have to do, or I have to do, or we got to do, or whatever, is to make sure that the refrigerator,
Yeah, all the
the
appliances, everything's there.
freezer,
Yep.
the stove, dishwasher, and all have been repaired if necessary, and they're fully functional. So I must make a note to myself to when they open to make sure I go up there and do that. I'll remember it. Susie will remind me. So the option for this 24/7 healthcare is, it seems to me, the time is now to have a health program for elders. And while I'm at it, let me rave about one other thing too that affects elders, and that is the death tax, the inheritance tax. Will you tell me exactly how the government has got the audacity to steal our wealth when we die? How about families? How about we work hard all our lives, invest our money with the idea that we're going to retire comfortably and leave money for our children?
That is by the most nefarious,
Money grabs.
that was ever conceived.
Yep.
I mean, that nobody likes that. Nobody advocates it except whoever in Washington puts these things together.
Well, the state of Massachusetts.
Well, the state.
too.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's everybody is doing it.
But I mean,
Now-
for them to be able to grab 40% of your estate.
There was a lot of cases where I grew up where we had family farms. You don't have that
Yeah.
here. But Pop would die, give it to Mom, would inherit the farm. She would give it to one of the kids. But when that got changed, that farm was worth, the land was worth so much money, they had to sell it.
Yeah,
They couldn't give it to their kids
that's right.
because the tax was so high on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had to sell it to a total stranger.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a terrible, terrible thing.
It was awful.
Here's people that have farmed that property
Mm-hmm.
for all their lives, and the generation before.
Could have been generations,
And
yeah.
a generation before that. And now the tax man comes. Well, Pop died.
Yep.
Come on, grease the palm here. 40%, 30%, whatever the hell it happens
Yep.
to be. I mean, that is criminal.
Yep.
And you know what? As Bucky Kalu is fond of saying, when we take over, there aren't going to be enough light poles to hang these bastards from.
Yeah, that's right.
And boy, I'll tell you, the people that invented inheritance taxes are going to be among the first to be hung.
It's just there is no redeeming value to that tax whatsoever.
Income tax. Tax on your income. That's one thing.
That's one thing. 'Cause
That's right.
That's right.
We
It's an
know
ongoing,
that up front.
Yep.
A sales tax.
That's another one.
That's another one. But an inheritance tax based on your death?
Yeah. There is. It's an indefensible bill.
It is. It is. It is indefensible, and I'm all with Bucky. I think we ought to start checking these light poles out
See
and
how
get
strong
the
they
ropes
are.
ready.
Yeah.
Oh man, alive! Opioid overdose deaths rise 7% in the hub. Fentanyl. You know what? We already talked about
Yeah.
that. But you know what? Here's something that I've been aging for 4 weeks, and we haven't got to it. Daniel Penny arrested for the stranglehold on that unruly,
Oh yeah.
out of
The
control
subway in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
subway in New York. Now, what if, and here's a letter to the editor, what if Penny had done nothing? If Neely had been hurt or even killed someone, word would get out that a U.S. Marine had been in the subway car
That's
and
right.
done nothing. Mr. Penny might have been a target of the mob's ire just the same, albeit without the legal consequences. We should feel compassion for these New Yorkers who have to ride the subway now with less certainty that someone will step up to help them in a similar fashion.
I want to know what happened to the Good Samaritan law.
That's right. I want to know what happened to the Bartley Fox law
Oh,
that
my.
says you get a year in jail for illegally carrying a weapon.
Yeah,
I want to know where that is.
that just went out the
Yep.
door.
Yep. But one thing is going on. Well, I don't want to jump ahead to that yet. The Good Samaritan law. You know, and he's right. It came from Wisconsin, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Beth Rutherford, you know her?
Oh yeah, she works in one of the shipbuilding places there that
There
built
you
all
go.
the Lakers.
I mean, if we have Good Samaritans that won't stop when there's a traffic accident to see if somebody is hurt, if a kid gets hit on a bicycle, Good Samaritans won't stop because they're afraid if they touch the kid
They'll
and
get
the
sued.
kid dies, it's because you moved him and a
Yeah.
blood clot went to his brain.
Exactly.
And you're not a doctor. What the hell are you doing with the kid? You know, because there are. And
Oh.
by the way, some of them are lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say that. Why is that? Is it because they're going to profit from this?
Of course.
Ah.
They're like vultures flying around, just waiting for a meal there.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I never went through the legal process. I don't understand how some of them can sleep at night or look at themselves in the mirror when they'll take somebody there is no question he's guilty. They caught him with a smoking gun, standing over the body, shooting bullets into him. So far that there's just, and then to try to get him off on some legal technicality, knowing full well he can't do it. I guess if the guy says I did it,
Yep.
as long as the guy says I didn't do it, and the attorney, they know damn well that he did it. But yet to get him off
might
and
as
put him
well-
back in society to kill somebody else. How do you
Might as well
justify
have a
that?
tattoo that said, I'm the killer on
Yeah.
his forehead. Yep. And
You gotta have a something you can just shut off all the things of right and wrong, good and evil. You just gotta say, no, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Or is it the money?
Well, some of them are hired guns.
Oh, absolutely.
Where people can't afford a lawyer and the court appoints one for them. And they get guys that, well, are unable to sustain a practice of their own, and
Become public defenders.
I don't know. It's puzzling sometimes, but it's. Oh, I read an interesting thing that in some of the murders and violent crimes, that 95 or 98% of them never go to a jury. They're all plea bargained.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most of them are flea bag.
So what we have is we have the trial, and then we have the prosecutor and the defense attorney.
Let's make a deal.
saying, yeah, let's make a deal. And the judge has to okay it.
Yeah.
You know what else appears to have gone by the wayside is a directed verdict by the sitting judge, who says the preponderance of the evidence indicates to me that he is guilty.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we don't have some mistake by the jury. So I am ordering the jury to convict Dwayne Weiss of throwing that pencil on the floor or whatever.
I did it.
You did it. But it would seem to me that I would like to see more of that in a just society, where it's as plain as a nose on your face. But the defense attorney may tell jokes, he may be a hot ticket, he may be a lot of fun, and people are laughing along with him during the trial and all that stuff. And he's the showman. And the prosecutor is a bozo, just going fly right
I know
ahead.
this is going to drive a lot of people crazy.
Crazier.
Crazier, maybe. I would not even object to using some of the European systems using professional jurors.
I agree with you.
Because if you take a jury that's pulled out of a group, and even if it was just pulled out, but it's not, it's winnowed like you winnow wheat. You take the chaff out. Well, they object to this person. They object to this person. This person here got a speeding ticket, so we'll throw him out because he's anti-law. Well, this guy's pro this. This guy's pro that. They willow that jury down to where they want to get it. That's not a judge of your peers. It
That's
technically
right.
is. It's a modified group of people.
It is. It is. And the perfect example of that, the O.J. Simpson
Exactly.
trial jury.
That's right.
That woman that said afterwards, I didn't believe any of the evidence.
I don't care what they said.
That's right. They can have all their fancy tests and blood tests and everything.
But I know. Yep.
And I had one of those once, and I thought I was pregnant, so I had one, and it came back I wasn't pregnant. Yeah. Well, guess what? I was pregnant. I had a baby. So don't tell me about any of those medical tests.
Exactly.
I mean,
That your whole trial, your whole fairness has gone right out
Yeah.
the window.
I mean, when you get someone that can't understand
Yeah.
a blood test,
It only
that's
takes
not
one.
like PA.
It only
Yeah.
takes one. That's
Well,
not-
there was more than one.
now. Yeah, but I mean, it only takes one to hang up a jury.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just one that keeps on complaining
Yeah.
and talking. Yeah. Medical suicide idea gets new life. Dwayne, we've never taken a stand here on the report on medical suicide. Do you have any wisdom you'd care to impart on that subject?
This is a subject at home that was rather contentious.
Aha.
We got one that says no and one that says yes.
No is the distaff member of the group, and yes is you.
Yes, correct. Because I said,
Sanctity of life.
well, sanctity of life, true, but when there is no hope,
When there is no hope, when someone has been in an automobile accident, his head went through the
That's right.
windshield, and he is in a vegetative state.
And-
He's being kept alive by a breathing machine.
that they pull the plug on.
Yeah, they do. Yes.
But the same thing where there's no hope, but there's suffering. Just unbelievable suffering. I always tell her, I said, well, what about the situation where there's a car accident. You come up on it, and the car's on fire. There's a guy in there, and he's burning up. And he says, "Shoot me, please shoot me. My God, kill me." Do you do it or don't you? Or do you just let him slowly fry?
In this litigious society,
Well, that too, but
Yeah.
you don't dare because
let me tell you something.
but I
Because
mean
look at-
morally.
Look at some of the Looney Tunes
Oh.
that have become prosecutors in Boston
Yeah.
that are on the pages of the newspapers.
Yeah.
One of them was Rachel Robbins.
Rollins.
Say she got thrown out. So
She's gonna be in
don't
hot
know-
water
If you
again.
did that, if you had a licensed weapon with you,
Yeah.
and you did that,
Oh yeah, you'd be.
at least you would get arrested for manslaughter and have to defend yourself.
That's right.
And you would end up with $50,000 worth of legal bills.
I'll just take all that away. Just go morally.
Yes,
Morally, do you or do you not? Yeah.
Man.
'Cause we shoot horses. If a horse has got a broken leg,
What did we do in combat?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you've got a dog that's suffering, and he's dying, and he's got I don't know what a dog gets. I don't
Cancer.
know, cancer or that hip disease and that they can't cure.
Yes,
They take him to the vet. They put him down.
absolutely.
That's a humane gesture.
It is. It is. I've taken a couple of my cats. in.
Yeah, I did too. Saddest
And,
saddest day in the world.
Yes, it was.
Watching them.
Yeah. I was, I never liked the cat. But the day I was the only one that
Would do it.
no one else would take her,
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. We got in there, and I took her out of the cage and everything, and the vet said, "Well, I'll be with you in a few minutes." And she hopped up in my lap and laid down.
And you said to her, "You're really going to make this difficult, aren't you?"
and purred.
Yeah.
And the more I stroked her, the more she purred. And I'm saying to myself, man, the kids are prepared for this. If I take her home, she's miserable sometimes, and I didn't get over that for a few days. Said the man that's probably killed 10,000 muskrats in his career. I think medical suicide, you know what? If there was a foolproof way of interfacing with your doctor and your family by law, somehow or other, so that someone was representing the poor patient, someone from the family really concerned, and then the doctor saying it can't, it's beyond all hope, another opinion, and I don't know.
10. You got 10.
I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but
But see, I don't think it's should be a viable option for somebody that just says, "I'm bored."
I know. And that's the ones that are going to say, well, the divorce is final, she's
Yeah.
gone, I got nothing to live for, give me a load.
See, but I'm a big advocate of somebody that's in pain and suffering for
Yeah.
relief because
I was with my mother when she passed away, and I stayed with my dad the night that he died until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I said, well, I gotta go home and go to work. Died
yeah,
like an hour after I left.
of course.
But they were both just
Not
nothing. They
yeah,
were nothing.
they're not conscious
were,
anymore.
They were breathing.
Yeah.
That's all you could say about it. And it was a blessing when they passed.
Yeah.
And you know what? If the doctor had come in and said, "Bill, why don't you take a walk? I'll do what's necessary."
Yep.
And I would have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because there was no hope for either one. I don't know. Okay. I finally got to a good one here. RFK, Robert F. Kennedy. What in heaven's name are we to make of his candidacy?
I don't know. I mean, you may be a big fan of his, but he's just a whack-a-mole.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what?
If his name wasn't Kennedy,
This would be.
they wouldn't even pay any attention
No,
to the.
no.
He's just another guy rambling on the street someplace.
Yeah, just talking to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the Kennedy name, but here's a guy that's polling 20% against a sitting president who people really want to, by an overwhelming measure, both parties want him not to run.
Oh, absolutely.
What if this guy. Now, okay, so what state is first in the country with its primary? New Hampshire. He's polling well in New Hampshire. His brothers polled well in New Hampshire.
Yes, they did. Now, see,
And-
I have a theory on that.
Yep.
That there's a certain percentage in this country that if it says Kennedy, will vote for it.
Oh, absolutely.
It says 20%. Out of that 20%, I bet 10% don't know JFK's dead.
I think it's a lot higher than 20%. I really and truly do.
All they see is Kennedy.
Yeah, Ted Kennedy. He kept on getting reelected as.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. But I believe, and what they're afraid of now, New Hampshire, what are they known as? Live free or die. We are rugged, independent of the 6 states. They are the maverick state. And
Yeah,
the Democrats are scared to death that this guy can knock Biden off in New Hampshire. Even though it's probably meaningless.
Yeah.
They are afraid of that happening. Also, I think, unless I'm mistaken, in New Hampshire, Republicans can request a Democratic ballot.
Yes, they can.
And
I believe they
declare
can.
themselves Democrats, and they will vote for them. So they want to avoid the first in the nation deal. That's why they're pushing South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why. That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
And of course, the Iowa caucuses also
Mm-hmm.
are also early on. They come right after New Hampshire does.
Okay.
And they also have got a very independent streak, and they also vote Republican, and they're afraid again of that happening. So I think that Biden has a real concern about Kennedy not beating him, but embarrassing him.
Embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Speaking of caucuses, did you see that my favorite congressperson just got kicked off the what the hell was it called? The Conservative House Freedom Caucus.
I don't know, who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
She
no.
was too extreme and too embarrassing for the most right-wing caucus in the Congress.
She was a screaming nutcake.
Yeah,
outside
they
there.
said no more.
No more.
No more, because she's just too much of an embarrassment.
Thank goodness for that. Here's one I need your opinion on.
Yes, sir.
So, Byron Koberger is set to go to trial, and they are seeking the death penalty for him slaying those 4 girls.
Oh, out
out
in Idaho.
the
Yeah.
students. How do you feel about them seeking the death penalty for him?
I don't know. You know, the death penalty to me is,
It's pretty final.
It's final, but it's also an escape in a lot of cases. And again, I always play, if I was king, this is what we do, and I get reminded, well, you're not king and you're never going to be king. But I would take some of those heinous crimes and make them life imprisonment, hard labor.
Here's the problem.
I know what the problem is.
You know what the problem is.
Oh, absolutely.
She's the governor of Massachusetts
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Okay? She's going to be sitting there and she is going to be pardoning people
Yeah.
like there's no tomorrow.
I'm afraid of that.
And when you get somebody like Maura Healey in there, well, he's been behind bars now for
Yeah,
29 years. He's worked. He's got a degree from Boston College Extension and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to
I don't know where or by what decree presidential or gubernatorial pardoning came into effect and how it got to be what it is. But I think it's gotten out of hand.
Well, you're absolutely
And it has
right.
to, I think it has to be really looked at constitutionally
Yeah.
because it's being abused.
But again,
Bill.
But it's a state's rights.
Two,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's state's rights as
Okay.
opposed to federal
Yeah,
government's
but
rights.
even
Yeah.
federal, even the federal
Yeah.
presidential ability.
I think the jury should decide this. 12 men.
Yeah.
So seek the death penalty, but
Was there any motivation given on that case? I never come across
he's
it.
some kind of a pervert.
Yeah, I know he's weird.
Yeah. And there was 5 aggregating circumstances that would qualify for capital punishment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Another thing, do you think we should take the show national
Oh, we are national now.
and go on one of the national
Networks?
networks?
Oh,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so too.
We're
really.
we're national now.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
Actually, we are with that. If you go on to Bill Crane report, or Bill Crane Hour, and put YouTube after it, it pops it right up.
Well, all you have to do is go on Google.
Oh yeah,
and
that's what I mean
put
on
down
Google.
Bill Crane report and hit it, and it takes you right to.
Yeah, you put YouTube on the
yeah.
end of it, it's just bloop, and there
Yeah.
it is.
Well, it does it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know we have folks all around the country
Mm-hmm.
watching us.
I got a lot of relatives that
Yeah.
live out of state.
Yeah, I got some friends that I've told too.
And then they tell people, and they
yeah.
tell people, and they tell people.
A
And
guy down in Texas watching us. I think we ought to go. Now, the other thing too is, do you think we should sponsor a debate between Biden and whoever the Republican nominee
yeah, I
is?
think so.
We'll have to put.
We'll put 2 podiums here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put Andrew on that job of lining the
Good idea.
the presidential nominees.
For those who don't know, Andrew was our new producer here.
That's right, and he's a fine young lad.
Yes, he is.
And drop in and see him sometime.
He knows what he's doing.
He is squared away. Well, listen, Andrew has just given us the slit your throat deal, so that means we're done, folks. It's been a very enjoyable 2
You just
hours.
said
with
you just said
Bethel.
you guys are so done.
So, listen, stay cool. Enjoy summer.
Yep. It's going to go too fast. It's going to.
Yeah, and it's going to be gone before we know
You
it.
know it. Yep.
And we'll catch you next time.
Be good. Take care.
Yep.